You're not invited. Get off the property before I call security. That's what I heard, clear as day, from a teenage girl standing at the edge of my porch, her nails so sharp and perfectly manicured they looked like they could slice bread, her voice cutting through the Texas air like she'd just stepped off the set of some reality show and decided she owned the place. You know what I mean? There were 3 other girls with her, all crop tops and sunglasses, giggling behind her like this was the highlight of their week. I stared, silent for a second. Not because I was scared, hell no, but because the audacity left me actually stunned. This wasn't just any patch of land. This was my ranch, my home, the land I'd sweated over, patched up, protected, and loved. And this girl, who I'd never seen in my life, was trying to evict me from it like I was the intruder. She doubled down, smirking, waving her phone around, threatening to call for backup. My mom owns this HOA. She can kick you out whenever she wants, so get out. I hadn't even put my badge away yet, boots still muddy from working the fences, but that detail was lost on her. Instead, I watched as she gestured back toward the barn, loud music blaring, teens riding my horses like they were at a fair, some tossing beer cans in a pond, folding tables groaning under the weight of snacks and red cups. They were throwing a full-blown party on my land, and not a single one realized who I was. Before I could even gather my wits, my phone buzzed me, deputy calling, but I ignored it. I had to deal with these entitled kids first. Then, just as I tried to open my mouth, she stepped in and gave me a shove, actually laid hands on me, and told me to move. That's when something inside me snapped. I planted my badge firmly on my belt, squared up, and gave her the coldest look I could muster, only for a BMW SUV to roll up, engine roaring like she owned the world. That's how Karen walked in. Her real name, HOA president and self-styled queen of the neighborhood. I'm Madison, by the way, Madison Walker, 48, police chief for a small Texas town, ranch owner, and apparently the new target of HOA community building. I inherited this ranch from my father, and I've always tried to be fair, kind, and honest, even with neighbors who didn't exactly return the favor. This mess started because I went away for a few days to police leadership summit in Austin. I told the HOA secretary I'd be gone and left Jose, my ranch hand, to lock up every night. But word got out, as it always does, and Karen saw her golden chance. She'd been trying to get me to join the HOA for years, even though my property's not under their control. When I wouldn't bend, she took it personally. So she told her daughter, Courtney, the girl screaming at me, to throw a community enrichment party right here on my ranch without asking. Jose happened to be away that weekend visiting his sick mother. Somehow, Karen bypassed the gates, maybe with a spare key from her HOA cronies. By the time I got home early Sunday, my property was unrecognizable. Streamers at the gate, pizza boxes and soda bottles everywhere, my American flag swapped for a welcome banner in neon pink. Cars everywhere, teens swimming in my cattle pond. I parked out back, hoping I'd get a reasonable explanation, but then Courtney found me. Let me back up a sec. Karen swept out of her SUV in sunglasses so big they could hide half her face, strutted up my driveway with her purse swinging like she was royalty. Well, look who decided to show up, she cooed. I crossed my arms and held my ground. I came back early. She brushed it off. We're just having a little get-together for the kids. You weren't using the place anyway. I told her flat out I wasn't using it, but I sure as hell didn't loan it out. She smirked, but before she could fire back, Courtney jumped in, acting like she was the real adult here. Mom, she's bothering us. And then, in front of everyone, Karen told me to leave. She actually said, "You're upsetting the children." Courtney dialed 911, loud and proud. There's a strange woman trespassing. She's acting aggressive. I almost laughed. Instead, I clipped my badge to my belt, grabbed my radio, and called it in. Dispatch, this is Chief Madison. Got a situation at my residence. The look on their faces was priceless. Music stopped. Conversations froze. Jaws hit the dirt. But things were about to spiral. Because then, Chaos, one of the boys from the pond, ran up, yelling about a horse that had jumped the fence. That horse, Thunder, was a prize gelding, and he was headed for the open road. Suddenly, nothing else mattered. I took off running, boots pounding the earth, heart racing with fear, because if Thunder made it to County Road 9, it could be a disaster. I shouted, tried to intercept, but a truck was coming down the road too fast. At the last second, the driver braked, Thunder skidded across the pavement, but didn't fall spun around and bolted back toward the ranch. Jose arrived just in time to help me calm Thunder and lead him back to the stable. By then, the sheriff's deputy had pulled up Rogers, good man-taking in the scene. Teens everywhere, trash property, Karen and Courtney acting shocked that things weren't going their way. Chief, what exactly am I walking into?" he asked. "Trespassing, property damage, unauthorized entry, maybe endangering livestock," I said, plain as day. Karen stormed over, trying to smooth it over, calling it a misunderstanding, but Rogers set her straight. "Ma'am, HOA rules don't extend here." That's when Courtney blurted, "Mom said this place was community property." Karen's calm crumbled. As we started sorting out statements, a fresh commotion erupted. Courtney, screaming her phone was gone. Two boys started arguing over who touched her bag. I took control, told everyone to sit down until we figured it out. Courtney protested, but I held up my badge. "Off duty, still chief of police. Obstruct me and you'll regret it." She shut up real quick. Deputy Rogers gathered witness statements. We pieced together that Courtney had been yelling into her phone, left it unattended, then it vanished. Karen pleaded to let it go. "It's just a phone," but Courtney panicked. "That phone has everything. My drafts, my party invite video." She froze. That got my attention. "What video?" I asked. Courtney clammed up, but it was obvious she'd filmed something she shouldn't have. Jose found the phone behind the barn, half buried. When we opened it, the truth was all there. A video titled, HOA Takeover. Watch us kick the chief off our own land. Clips of teens partying, riding my horses, Courtney yelling, "Get off our property, creepy lady," spray painting initials in the barn. I turned to Rogers, handed over the phone. Criminal mischief. Trespassing. Vandalism. Maybe more. Karen begged me not to ruin her daughter's future. I told her flat, "Did you think about mine?" Then another shout. Someone carved, "HOA owns this now," into my barn door, signed with Courtney's name. It wasn't a prank anymore. It was criminal. I ordered photos, crime scene tape, the whole 9 yards. Cleanup started, but this mess was just beginning. When I checked the barn, I realized something was missing. Me father's old hand-stitched saddle. Gone. In its place, a mocking note. "Told you we could take whatever we wanted. Thanks for the souvenir. Hot girls rule." That was the last straw. We reviewed security footage and found the real thief. Melinda, purple-haired girl from another neighborhood, in a rhinestone hoodie. With her address in hand, Rogers and I drove over. Her mom answered, shocked, but there was the saddle, half stuffed in a gym bag. Melinda broke down, claimed she thought it was just an old prop. I told her to return it by morning or face charges. As the sun set, my phone buzzed a text from an unknown number. "You think this is over? HOA girls stick together." A threat, plain and simple. That night, I dug into HOA messages, trace calls, and found Karen's VP Nancy was pulling strings behind the scenes. When drone footage of my ranch popped up online, with captions mocking me and threatening more stunts, I called in the sheriff, got a search warrant for Nancy's house. We found evidence of organized harassment. At the emergency town hall, I played the videos, exposed the text, showed everyone how the HOA leaders encouraged the takeover, the vandalism, the theft. Nancy and Karen were served with warrants right there in front of the whole town. The board collapsed. But even as people apologized, as the sheriff and I dismantled their little empire, more threats appeared. "Not your land," spray painted on my driveway. "Another can of dye found in the woods." An anonymous voice message warned, "Next time we won't just paint your sidewalk." So I doubled down, called a community meeting on my land, cameras rolling, everyone invited. I told my story. I made it clear, this ranch isn't just mine. It's for everyone who's ever been bullied, pushed, threatened, or forced into silence by people hiding behind a rulebook. The HOA was suspended, the sheriff took over investigations, and the community rallied. Melinda showed up, gave me back my father's saddle blanket, apologized, said she wanted to do better. And as the crowd broke up and the sun set, Jose asked, You think they'll come back? Maybe, I said. But next time, I won't just be standing alone. For the first time, I felt peace. Not just because I'd reclaimed my land, but because I'd finally shown my neighbors that justice isn't about who's got the loudest voice, but who's willing to stand up and draw the line. So, what do you think? Was I right to fight back, or should I have just let it go for the sake of peace? In a world full of HOAs, where's the line between community and control? Let me know what you would have done, because out here, sometimes standing up is the only way justice gets served.